Hello everyone, and welcome to the Capsule Cast, the playoff week 1. I am your host, Xmat. I am joined once again by my co-host, Destiny.
Hello.
And we've got a very special guest, coach of Earth Defenders, Macho.
I'm ready. Woo.
He's ready. He's ready for the pain of this week. How is everyone before we begin?
Doing alright. Chilling, reviving. Edie's making moves.
I got some water.
Water, the sustenance of life. Destiny's doing good. Alright. Are we ready to get into match number 1 of this week?
Yeah. Well, yeah, round 1, right?
Round 1. Match
Round one of the first set of teams this week.
Right, okay. So, we have Resurrected Warriors versus Hybrids. Now, this was a good match. We had 3 rounds. Round 1, Hybrids won. Round 2, RW got the comeback win, and then Hybrids finished things off in round 3. Sort of a little synopsis. Basically, Future Gohan and Ultimate Gohan were like the big carries for the hybrid wins in round 1 and round 3. Team Gohan was consistent as ever, and surprisingly Sword Trunks as well was kind of actually doing consistently well. Kid Gohan technically was consistent, but consistently 30k is consistently 30k. It's not very good, but you know it could have been worse, I guess. RW round 2, when they did get the win, it was 18, just really popped off. A little note as well, Marju seemed to really struggle in all 3 rounds, so that's something to maybe keep an eye on. I don't know if that's something RW will test when they start doing tests. And yeah, I mean, I think for me, before I pass over to anyone else, I found it quite strange that the one round that RW won was like quite a stomp, round 2, but every other round, so round 1 and 3, was quite close when Hybrids did manage to actually win. So I found that interesting, but that's just me. Destiny, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I have some. Going back on what you literally just said, I think just them being able to have such close matches, even if they did lose, and their one win being a top versus Hybrids, and I know Hybrids is considered a decently strong team, but everyone agrees that they do have some weaker members like Sword Trunks and Kid Gohan. But it's like Kid Gohan was really going off in that 3rd match. So for it to be as close as it was definitely, I think it's definitely just shows how powerful RW can be even in deficits.
I agree with that. Macho, any thoughts?
Yeah, to emphasize what you were saying before, Xmat, there was one match, Hybrids won by like 6 or 7 bars in the 3rd match. That one was kind of a stomp too. So the closest match in that series was the first one where it was only about 2 bars of Future Gohan left. So yeah, it is interesting how much these teams varied with their victories. Like with how much difference there was, you wouldn't expect this to be a 3-match series, but it was. It was just a stomp, kind of a stomp in every direction, whichever team was pulling ahead. So, you know, it kind of makes you think about the consistency of the characters being called in question for either team. You know, maybe there's some testing in order that they need to find to able to maybe find some consistency, because consistency is a great thing. It's so rare to have consistency in this league, so good thing to find. But yeah, congrats Hybrids. I have a very interesting impact with both these teams because I was a Hybrid supporter once. The characters are very strong, very awesome, very cool. And RW actually had half my team this year, so yeah, that was interesting watching them. Apparently, my team on their team did better than their team on my team. So it was really cool to see RW have such a good season. Actually, it was a shame to have it end, but hybrids are just a team filled with like base roster characters that can destroy you on a given week. It doesn't matter when or how they can. If their characters show up, like you'll know. Like the only other team that I think challenges them or has a better base roster stat wise is Fujins, well Fusaga, and you see what what they are this season. So yeah, it's a good win for hybrids. RW is kind of stuck in a rut in testing because they have to wait till we get eliminated. So, yep. Well, they hope for the future. Big plans ahead. Big plans.
Yeah. What I was gonna say as well, which I don't know, touched on. I know we didn't actually. Ultimate Gohan was almost certainly got an elite in round 3. So it's not been confirmed yet, but it's like 95% sure that he got an elite. So congrats for that as well on hybrids.
Yeah.
And yeah, commiserations RW, I guess. Kind of just a shame. Some of the big hitters, Marju and Tapion, didn't really do all that much. So
Yeah, it seemed like every round Tapion was getting stomped.
yeah, that one round he was going even with Kid Gohan, which isn't really what you want to see. So he did beat him in the end, but like, yeah.
I think that's really what killed them, especially round 3, because of all the characters from Majub to lose to, you expect him to lose, like, say, to either Ultimate or Kid, or not Kid, Teen, but he lost to Kid. And I'm not saying like Kid's like the weakest character or anything. He's just like the weakest on hybrids if you don't include their FA. But like it's still Kid Gohai versus Majub, who you think, at least off the top of your head, like who should win that matchup? Majub should.
Yeah.
But
and also on the reverse as well, by the way, hybrids Sword Trunks is kind of like sucked this season, but I feel like in this series he's done fairly well for himself. So that's the reverse of that. Not only have you got your characters that are good sucking, but the other team, their character who has been sucking is not. So kind of rough if you're RW.
Yeah, it's like, but there is some silver lining. It is, or at least one silver lining for them is that 18 was still looking really good in most of those matches, even if they didn't pull out the win for 2 of the 3 matches. Like she looked rather impressive, and Yamcha and Tien looked impressive, but obviously, even depending on what happens to ED, they're not a part of the team anymore because they were loans.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate for them, but
it just makes you question, like, Ader most of the seasons has been at least a decently solid character, and he was FA bench this season. Obviously, someone had to with their team, but it's like, do you guys think there could have been a difference if Ader was in?
Because of how bad he's been this season, probably not. But maybe if they cooked something up and put him in for Tapion, maybe, because Tapion's been kind of sucking lately. So, but that's if buts maybes. I don't think it would have personally.
They'd be going in with not a solid build with Ader, so you just throwing shit at a wall and seeing if it'll stick. It's not usually questionable strategy.
I mean, to be fair, that's exactly what hybrids do with Kid.
No, well, it's some sort of melee usually, though. It's like defense melee. It's not too fast. Ader, they actually had no idea what they were doing with him.
I think.
Get moving on.
Yep.
Match number 2.
Well, I just want to say one thing. Congratulations to Hybrid, and well, yeah. RW, don't look down. You know what? You get to test before all get to test for a lot of the other teams.
That's true. Although they can't test half their team, but otherwise, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
On to match number 2. We have GT versus Budokai, or Budokai versus GT, whichever way around you wanna say it. So we have an actual reverse sweep to the point where obviously it ended up 2-1 to Budokai, but GT won the first round, and then Budokai did back-to-back wins.
I think they won pretty hard too. They had almost a full character left.
Yeah, they did, because what happened is, I was going to say that, basically, when Super Saiyan 4 managed to pop off, GT did really well, and he popped off round 1, severely, and he got them really far in the lead. But yeah, that was a big sort of performance from GT in the first round. Super Saiyan 4 and Jiro doing well. Across the whole, Sin, really bottled it for GT. Even in round 1 he sucked, but round 2 and 3, he sucked and the team, hurt for it. Budokai... Oh, sorry, carry on.
I was gonna say, before you at least get the Budokai, even for, in the second and third round, Super Saiyan 4 wasn't really what he was in the first one, because he did his character in the third round, yes, but in the second round he was really just getting beaten up
by early Piccolo.
And by the way, they did take him off Demonic Bargain, which he was in on the first match.
Which it paid off dividends. It did really well when they took it off him. So fair play to Budokai. And honestly, what I was going to say about Budokai is Videl. Props to them, because from what I remember, I know she popped off round 2 and 3. I can't remember round 1 all too much.
Round 1 she had to go against Ape.
Yeah, well that explains that. But whatever they've done with her, she is going ham, absolutely mad. And honestly, she was for me, even though I don't know if she necessarily did the most damage, because round 2 and Goku did fairly well. I think he did fairly well in round 3 as well, but mainly round 2. Videl, for me, was the standout performer, just for her doing so well, with her kit. They kind of owned him.
On Demonic Bargain, she's the only one that stayed.
Yeah.
But you said Videl did good round 2. Because she wasn't in round 2.
She didn't even appear. Okay, that's how well she did, bro. Round 3 then was when she popped off.
No, she popped the hell off round 3.
I knew she popped off round 3. I think she did okay in round 1, but in general, Videl has been...
She did okay until 8 Baby stepped on the field.
Yeah. But, I mean, you can't expect much for Videl versus an Ape. And Goku, though, I know he did well round 2, because he absolutely shut Jiro down. Yeah. Macho, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, of course I do. GT, I think their round 2 was really unfortunate for them. One, it was round 2 and 3 were stomps. They Budokai sent a message, but GT ran into a really big issue because their roster very much this season was maybe you can get some good performances from your guys, but right now you got 2 characters that are averaging 60,000 damage a match, and that's with Baby Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. I think they were either around or both had 60,000. They were
both
seasons.
within top 10 characters by the time playoffs started.
Yeah, so both really good characters. Round 2, essentially you had both those guys be the first 2 matchups, and then they did decent, but they kind of got shut down. You're not going to win that match when that happens. And round 2 was just a big loss for them. And round 3 didn't look. I think round 3 looked a little better, but it wasn't too much better. Obviously, Baby tried, team tried, but 2 and 3 were sad. But GT, always interesting team. They'll get better probably because they did some favors to send away their boys, and they're trying to make moves, see how they want to improve their team, which is nice out of GT, and get the new fresh ideas in.
Hey, whatever works.
Yeah, and Budokai looking like a strong team. They were struggling really heavy. It might have been just because they were testing, but they were having immense struggle in the second half of the season. I think they were like 2-6 or something. Like they were once the top tier team, and they came out with only like 8 or 9 wins. So big skid for them, but a big statement series for them to say, hey, we're still around. We're still the guys that we were almost keeping up for Boo Saga for a bit. So yeah, it's interesting how to see how Budokai progresses. So,
I think effectively swapping Videl out for Supreme Kai has seemed to prove dividends for them. Because she seems to just do better on like a similar sort of thing of trying to get into clashes and just use the rush B2s. So.
There is something I want to say about Budokai real quick, and it's I know he was on the weaker side near the later half of the season, or maybe all season, I don't know. But Goku really popped off in playoffs.
I think I think Engoku's stats are very misleading because he closed when Budokai was good. That was when he was in, and he closed most of those matches. And then he was benched most of the time when they were starting to lose some matches, and obviously they're playing around with their FAs around that time too. So yeah, I think Engoku's a really solid character, especially once he gets going with those max power mode B1s.
He also had the anomaly of having the fodder award where he literally had no damage for 1 week, so his average was brought down a lot by the most anomalous performance that like not gonna be repeated. So yeah, there is that too.
Until it was repeated multiple times in the season.
No, I mean by her same character. Okay, it's not gonna be repeated again by Goku.
If it's repeated one more time by the same character, that character needs to be looked at. Or the character they go against needs to be looked at.
No, but yeah. So I mean, Budokai are looking scary. They have a scary team to face in the next round, but fair play, good win. Boo Saga, the cursed fight, right? But yeah, commiserations to GT. Hopefully you can sort some stuff out and test in and with trades. But congrats, Budokai, for progressing onto the next round.
Congrats.
Are we all ready to get on to match number 3?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, so match number 3 we have Royals versus Muscle, the defending champs of last season against the champs of 2021. So this is an interesting matchup for many reasons. Contrary to what Ryan said, the Champions Tower conspiracy theory technically is still alive. It just needs to alter the theory a little bit. I'm sure we'll talk about that on stream.
If it's going off how the theory just works right now, yeah, that's dead. That's been.
But he can alter it, so he might do it. I've already told him about that. Anyway, on to the actual match. Royals 1-2-0.
Yep.
But round 1 was extremely close.
It was a match of the playoffs.
You could not have asked for a closer match, and it also ended off in the perfect way too.
It ended off in the perfect way, and it kind of is a bit of a not a mirror, but like it reminds me of last season because Margin Vegeta did that against us, the final explosion, but they didn't win. But this time, in round 1, Margin Vegeta won a match using final explosion. Has to be the hypest moment of the season, or at least one of them.
It definitely was a hype moment to end off a round 1, because because it's like you have that week break in between the round 1 and round 2/3, but you always have it in your head that we lost round 1 by like a hit of damage because that motherfucker right there ulted.
100%, yeah. To actually like discuss the context of round one, pretty much everyone on Muscle did what they needed to do and more, except King Cold. King Cold sucked across round one and round two, so quite arguably he cost them the series.
Actually, I don't think so, but I'll get to that.
Well, yeah, he definitely cost them round one, 100%, because he didn't really do. I think he did like 20,000 max. I don't know if the stats are right yet, but he didn't do very much. Whereas everyone else, Broly, they started him and he popped off, which was interesting on a different build.
Curious what you're talking about, Destiny, because King Cold only did like 15k both matches.
There you go. I knew he sucked.
Yeah. I could give you someone who did less round two.
Was that Broly by any chance? Because I have.
Yes.
Yeah. I was gonna say round two, Broly did suck.
Round two, they had the tag game. They could have definitely brought it back, but I know he was against Deborah, but Broly almost seemed like he was going for that fodder award, bro. Like, he just didn't do really anything, and if Broly just did any damage to Deborah to start, because contrary to popular belief, I think round two was literally Baby Vegeta in the back and like a bar or something of like one other character, and they could have won, and to make it go to round three, which probably would have been pretty decent or probably would have been better because you never know. King Cold might have actually done something in the third round.
Maybe 1 in 3 potentially.
But yeah, like I definitely think them. Well, maybe starting Broly was, or maybe not starting Broly was definitely the better move in theory because it's the same starter. They can predict it. He definitely seemed a lot better in the starter position and a lot harder for them to deal with. Especially since it's Royals, who do you really put up as starter?
Meta Cooler.
Yeah. Pretty much Meta Cooler, and that's.
I mean, didn't Meta Cooler normally have Savior this season?
He does sometimes, but they take it off every now and then. It's either Meta or Deborah they usually start, I think. But can we talk quickly about how Meta Cooler and King Vegeta were like probably the carries of this series, especially King Vegeta in round 2. Oh my god. That man kept living. Bro, he had like 1 HP like 2 times, I swear.
No, and you have to respect him after he knocked I think it was either 13 or Bojack who he knocked away. He knocked one of them away, rested for a bit, gained some HP back, and then started beating some ass again. And this wasn't even an 8 form, by the way. He did it all in base.
He didn't get a chance to do his infamous. Did he even? No, he didn't transform, did he?
No, he died.
That's crazy. He usually always does, so mad. Macho, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think like we were saying before, match 1 was definitely the match for the playoffs thus far. It was the closest match, had a great ending. Teams really performed well. I think it is. There is some appreciation going around, just like Muscle being out, because Muscle is such a scary team. And think of it this way, right? Match 2, it was like 5.5 bar difference at the end of it. When you have 5.5 bars, but you have 2 of your characters doing a combined 20,000 damage, that's crazy still to be that little of a deficit. Like, you had 2 characters being essentially fodder, and you could still put up a decent fight. Like, Muscle is such a scary team. And so is Royals, because they won, and they swept, and they have a working Deborah and a really solid roster because they have the damage potential with their characters like Majin Vegeta, and then they have a lot of good defense characters that can slow it out. They're a very well-built, well-rounded team. And gosh, they're in my bracket, and I don't want to face either of them. Give me Cold Kingdom. That's the team I want to face in my bracket.
You want to lose, do you?
I will say one thing. I think part of the huge reason why Royals even got it that close in round 1 is because Trunks kept going for his max power mode B1, but he got interrupted every time.
Light body, it's needed.
No. Sometimes he even got interrupted by B2s, or just
that kind of sucks.
or just melee. I think he.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it definitely would seem like you want light body on him, especially since it takes so long for that B1 to activate. But who knows?
He still looked solid that match. And match 1 was a 3-man show mostly.
Yeah.
For at least Muscle.
What I will say is, what you said earlier, and this, I feel like round 2 was the epitome of it, when you said about they have people that can be slow and they have people that can be quick. Like damage-wise. King Vegeta did like a lot of damage, but it was over a long period of time. Like, he just kept living and living. And then Deborah came in, and I think he killed, was it 13 first? Like, big 13?
No, it was Broly, because it ended with 13, I thought, right?
Oh, was it? Yeah, okay. Well, he killed Broly and then big 13. Like, very quickly. It was like, the match was over within like 40 seconds. Whereas King Vegeta was on.
Actually, no, it was big 13 first because King Vegeta ended off on.
You're right. It was big 13. It was Trunks actually. It was the last one, not the other.
Yeah, because King Vegeta took 2 bars from 13 before going down, and then 13 transformed on his last bar.
Well, either way, that was what, like, the epitome of what you were saying with they have quick damage and slow damage. King Vegeta does a lot of damage slowly, but Deborah can do insane damage very quickly. Like, the burst is kind of insane.
And while having stuff like Aftermath Strike to help him defensively.
Yeah. If he gets that far, he can kind of pull that out, and he has Eternal Life. So, but yeah, congrats Royals. Unlucky Muscle in a way, because I think, like Macho was saying earlier, if King Cold performed, or in round 2, if Broly did something, like maybe you get through to round 3, and then anything can happen. But unfortunately, it didn't turn out that way for you guys. But congrats, Royals.
Yeah, definitely congratulations. And honestly, Muscle, just think of this as time to start fixing some characters.
And you get Raccoon back next year too. That's a good one.
Who's been like a 60k plus character.
Muscle are going to be so scary next season, boys. No King Cold, but they get a 60k Raccoon back. Oh my. That's scary. Are we ready?
Yep.
I'm ready.
Okay. Let's move on to match number 4.
Oh, you mean the Merc Tau experience? That match 4?
The Merc Tau experience. And you know all about the Merc Tau experience.
I'm just going to say right now, I didn't watch match 1.
You didn't watch match 1. Well, Tau went elite.
It was the Merc Tau experience for both matches. So
it was both, yeah. Well, basically, he potentially went elite in round 1, and by potentially I mean like 2 or 3 people now have confirmed the pretty much has. So he's gone elite, we can pretty much say. And then round 2, he did like 8,000, and it's all because of the damn Dolon Ray. It's such a good B2, bro. It's crazy. I swear it fires out like in 0.1 milliseconds. It's so fast, but yeah. Basically, Tau popped off. There's not that much more to say, except Frieza also just did what he normally does, which is like 50
Frieza
plus
cleaned
K. Yeah. So, I mean, Zarbon did well round 2 as well. We didn't see Mecha Frieza in round 2, and we barely saw Cooler where he like stepped onto the field and had to clean up. So, yeah, it was kind of a rough series for Rugrats. I feel like this was the cleanest of the playoff like wins in terms of any team.
This was definitely the one that didn't even really have at least one close match. It felt like.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, neither was close. So.
Yeah. Well, I feel like weirdly, as much as I was more scared of the potential of Goten and Trunks, Gotenks actually worked better in round 1 than Goten and Trunks did in round 2, which I'm kind of shocked at, but Gotenks did do well in round 1. Like, them having him in didn't cost them anything. In fact, you could argue that he probably, like, helped them a lot. It was the other characters not performing, because Gotenks killed 100% Frieza to, you know, confirm his dominance as the #1 Gotenks. But yeah, so Gotenks actually did well. Aurelie did well in round 1, but kind of sucked in round 2. And yeah, round 2 is kind of a horror show for Rugrats, really. But
I think though definitely Frieza was losing his goddamn marbles at some point in round 2, because he went for a Nova Strike and then he went for like a cross map fucking you die by my hand.
Bro, he just fires it. Thing is, the AI he's on, he just fires B2s. Like, it doesn't matter, he could be the other side of the map, he will fire a B2. Which is good if it's Nova Strike. If it's anything else, it's usually gonna miss.
That saucer can hit from that far, but it's like he went for like one of like the 2 things that you don't want.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at least at the range he was at when he fired it, that saucer might have hit. Nova Strike definitely would have hit.
Nova Strike almost. The thing is, Nova Strike is the easiest and hardest B2 to dodge, and to explain that, I just mean if your character just, like, walks to the side, you'll be dodging it.
No, just be Nuova and Python. Don't need the dodges, just fire back.
Clash, and no damage is done. Macho, do you have any thoughts?
First, yeah, I shared a little bit just how it's kind of was a disappointing season, or not season, series for Rugrats after they had a climb back season. You know, they were struggling very early on, but was able to climb back to secure a playoff position. But yeah, this kind of went out with a whimper because Tao, apparently beats up kids, which is very strange.
Wrong. That's wrong of you, Tao. I mean, he did beat up Kid Goku, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
Tao had to pull out a belt.
Yeah, you didn't. You're not even too sure. Like, Cold is a solid team, but you're not too sure how, because they have made switches up until playoffs. You're not too sure about those switches yet because Tao was just like, hold on.
Bro, let me changed Mecha Frieza's build last week, and I didn't get to see it. Like,
yeah,
it was like, oh, I want to see if Mecha Frieza can carry on with the attack one. Nope, he's not stepping on the field.
No, Tao's like, no, thank you. Fuck.
So Cold is now showing they're not just the one-trick pony. They have a lot of people that can get it going. So Cold looking very good this playoffs. A very exciting team to go up against.
Oh my god, you've cursed me. I'm gonna lose next round.
I will say I don't think Zarbon did too terrible in at least round 2. I know he didn't really do too terrible. I don't know.
Zarbon actually popped off. Now this is the thing. His stats gonna be a bit ruined because round 1 he came in and he did a B2 to win the match. So he has like 3,000 stats round 1. But round two, we got the matchup that I really wanted to happen because
which was
Aurelie versus Zarbon. For some unknown reason, every time that Zarbon goes against Aurelie, and I didn't want to mention this when we did the week 15 because I felt like I'd cursed myself, but every time that Zarbon goes against Aurelie, he does well. Usually he wins. Mm-hmm. So when that matchup happened when I was watching on the stream, I was kind of pretty delighted, to be honest with you, because that was our best matchup against Aurelie. So yeah, that really did help. Zarbon, yeah, he popped off. I think he did about 50 to 60 this round, well, round 2. So yeah, did pretty well.
I guess.
Oh, what was you gonna say? Sorry.
Guess we move on.
What I was about to say. Sweet. We're ready to get on to predictions because we don't have any tier lists or anything. So
Prediction time.
prediction time. So the first round of playoffs for a few people. The bye week people are entering.
Everyone that has 1, 4, 2, and 3, they're all the first time they get to be in playoffs this season.
But it is technically,
or not this season, but the first time they get to actually play in a match.
Yes, but it's week 3 or the quarterfinals, whatever you want to. Is it quarterfinals? Yeah, it is quarterfinals.
Well, that last week was quarterfinals. Oh no,
this is quarterfinals. But yes.
Well, last week was qualifiers. That's how they work.
We also used to call this divisionals.
Or divisionals. Oh
yeah,
that's the other one.
They used to be the division.
Used to be previously on divisionals.
But
anyway, we have Kaiju versus Hybrids as the first match. Anyone want to give any thoughts? Because I
honestly
don't actually know.
God, this is hard because it's like Kaiju and Hybrids are like the most out of like all these teams. They're like the ones that have like they're like one of the ones that have like the least. They're both like have like the highest potential because their teams don't normally like pop off, but they also have like the lowest ceiling. I think.
I am surprisingly going to go with Kaiju.
Yeah.
The reason that I'm going to say, not only because of Bardock, because Bardock is ridiculous, as we all know this season. I feel like they're going to bring Kid Goku in, who has a high potential, and I know Macho knows that he has a high potential, having been his coach before. And also, like, Nappa's on the same build as last season. He hasn't done as well, but I feel like there's always that potential with Nappa because of how good he was last season. So I'm going to go with Kaiju. That's my vote, and it's going to be 2-1.
Yeah. I'm going to agree on both Kaiju and it being 2-1 for most of the same reasons, except that with it being 5 people, they might actually have a chance to bench either Scouter or I don't know, really just other weakest character.
It'd probably be Kid Goku if it's not Scouter.
I mean, but Kid Goku's only been in for like what 3 weeks.
Well, yeah, but that was because they had him FA benched like the entire season. So it would they would either stick with Scouter or Kid Goku would be out.
Yeah, it's like because Oob definitely has looked up. Slug, there's just a consistent spanner for them. Nappa, I think, has just been unfortunate because he probably gets his like worst matchup from every team just because Bardock sweeps like almost through the entire team for like later half of the season. And then like, I mean, do we even have to talk about Bardock?
Yeah, Bardock is absolutely just Bardock.
I'm not going to knock Hybrids. I definitely think they can win. Like they pulled it back, or with how convincing RW won in round 2, everyone thought that because it was basically the same lineup again, that RW was going to win round 3. And they won pretty convincingly. But, and like, with characters like Kid working, so...
Yeah.
For all
you
we
can
know,
never rule them out.
Yeah.
100%. Never rule them out, because, like you said, Kid performing, but also they have ridiculous characters.
I think this is definitely one of the because if anyone doesn't remember, we're doing this for the entire series, so we don't have to constantly do predictions like back to back. But I definitely say this is one of the closer ones for quarterfinals.
I agree.
Interesting.
Macho, do you have any? What were you thinking?
I disagree that it's going to be closer. I think this is actually one of the more far apart series.
Oh.
I think so. Both these teams have some weird little drama issues going on, like quote unquote drama, playoff drama. Kaiju spent the majority of the latter half of the season doing test builds, doing the old tests on their characters, seeing what they can get. And for some of it, it's looked good, and some of it's worked. But maybe they got a little too fancy, maybe too much tests. You don't know which build you want to use going in playoff time. That's the more the funny one. But the one I got for hybrids, and the reason why I don't think the series is close is because their 5-man does not look good right now, especially because of how RW was able to get in there, and they do. And you could see, even though hybrids won, they had a character do nothing a couple of the matches. Like, there was one character you'd be like, that character didn't do any damage that one match. So I would say their 5-man is probably one of the weakers going into the playoffs. Though they do have their carries, they do have the ultimate and team tandem. Futures look better, and of course Kid Gohan. But also, even though those characters look good, some of those characters I named, they struggled in another match. So
inconsistent.
Yeah, it's inconsistent. So I think it'd probably be 2-0 Kaiju.
Well, fair enough. So we've all gone with Kaiju. Me and Destiny have gone with a 2-1. You've gone with a 2-0. That is pretty cool. I think it'll be close, but Macho disagrees. On to match number 2. We have the reigning champions of the season, Busaga, versus Budokai. And this actually technically would be a divisional still, so there you go. That's kind of cool.
What? Yeah, one of the only ones that would technically be divisional.
No, it's not. Android's Colders as well.
I said one
divisionals.
of. I said one of.
South Kai and North Kai divisionals.
For some reason.
But I'm just going to start this because I don't want to take too long. All that. I'm gonna be honest. I think Budokai could take it, but if I'm being serious here, it's a 5-man for Busaga this season, and if everyone's already scared of their 4-man, hello, like it's their 5-man. They already have all the builds set. Every character at least is 40k that we know of. So, I mean, yeah. Not saying that Budokai can't win this. Yeah, I'm not saying that Budokai can't win this, but I'm going to predict that it's Busaga and it's going to be 2-0.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And also, I don't think Busaga / Bujins have ever lost to Budokai in playoffs. So
I don't think they've lost to him in general, but I could be wrong. Macho, thoughts?
2-0 Busaga. 1, Busaga is Busaga, and 2, as a Budokai coach, Busaga has had our number forever in playoffs. This year, they got when both teams were either near undefeated or undefeated. Budokai got creamed by Busaga, for lack of a better term. Yeah, Budokai looks good. Unfortunate seeding for them because Busaga is a team not many would want to face, and they have the task to do it. So yeah, Busaga 2-0.
I am going to kind of go against the grain. I do think Busaga will win. I have a feeling Budokai might pull out a little shock win one of the rounds. It's going to be 2-1. I think they'll have Busaga on the ropes a little bit because, I mean, they got Videl working, man. And the last time Videl worked, Busaga was Bujins back then, but they kind of struggled against Videl. So that's an interesting little matchup. But also you got to consider the fact that Busaga are really good, but they did lose to Rugrats in the last week without Kid Buu. I know it was without Kid Buu, but also Budokai have some very strong characters. Like Adult Gohan, everyone. Adult Gohan. Okay? They have Adult Gohan.
But just remember, they lost versus Rugrats, and it was literally a bar.
It was a bar. This is true. But I'm just saying Budokai, I don't know. I can't remember if they finished on 8-7 or 9-6. But they did have a stronger season than Rugrats, regardless. So Just keep that in mind, and also keep in mind the Dell.
Put in Supreme Kai because they Derp beat Blue Saga.
Also true, Derp did beat. See, Blue
but-
Saga be beaten. Okay, that's all I'm
But
saying.
they didn't have Supreme Kai this season, so that's actually a lie.
They'll channel the derpness.
Essence, though.
Channel the
This is
derp
essence.
essence.
So yeah, I
Anyway.
think they can get A round, but yeah. Okay,
I
so
think-
everyone's going with
I
Blue
think.
Saga.
Yeah. All right. Third round.
Move on.
ED Royals. I definitely think, considering what Royals just pulled the fuck out of their ass, I would say this. I'd say this is closer. I'm not going to ask for like builds or anything because literally this is over the course of like 2 weeks, so I don't want to like spoil anything.
The thing is, though, the builds are going to be revealed tomorrow anyway, so it doesn't really.
Yeah, but I mean,
like,
if we're
If
doing the
Macho
entire
wants to
series, if we're doing the entire series, I feel like it's not great.
I'm not gonna. I don't have builds for 2-3 yet. I only have week 1. We go week by week. You know?
Yeah,
if you want to do it, you
yeah.
can do it.
yeah. Yes.
If you guys want to, I'll share week 1 builds.
I mean, sure, this is gonna be posted tomorrow anyway.
All right.
Totally.
So for our builds, if I can find them, they're the same builds. The lineup is Krillin, Mid Vegeta, and Mid Goku. Same builds as always, and then we have Nam and Vegeta in this second. And Vegeta, excuse me, and Vegeta's build has been changed by a bit. He is now off Den days, and now he's also off Sirius for Kabitos and Savior. While Nam is also on he's on a build where whenever we had N Vegeta bench, that's the build we put him on. So 3 weeks we've had Nam on this build, he's looked good. So this is the build that Nam is on. If you ever want to see those. So yeah, that's the lineup. That's who I'm championing out. Krillin into Mid Vegeta has proved to be a very good lineup placement, so I'm going to continue to do that.
I definitely think that this series is. Well, I did say Kaiju and Hybrids were one of the close ones. I definitely think this is going to be the closest because, well, your team and Royals, like, they're both really solid teams, especially with your rosters this season. But it's like you have proven to a lot of people why Krillin is such a scary starter, even versus like the really good starter characters. And I don't think Royals have a dedicated starter for their team that can deal with Krillin.
That's not true.
I think
The Burr kicks our ass. I actually have to plan around that because the Burr does kick Krillin's ass. So that's an interesting.
Okay,
tidbit.
to be fair, I didn't know that.
Now you do.
And now I do, but I mean, like, Krillin is still a threat, even if he's not like just starting.
Yeah, it's true. He's been a good third place
But-
man sometimes.
Yeah, but it's like the later you go in the lineup, the better Royals seems to get.
I will put a disclaimer out for my builds since I have announced them already. I will say I'm in the process of now rethinking my builds after hearing myself, so they're never
You
set
never
in
know. They're
stone.
not set in stone just yet. Yeah.
I definitely, if I have to say, I'm going to give the slight victory to Royals, only slight, but I think it is going to go third round, and it's going to be incredibly close.
Unfortunately, to not to upset you, Macho, but I'm gonna have to give it to Royals just because I don't see as like I feel like Mid Goku is a bit of a weak link for you guys, and I don't see that weak link in Royals really. That is mainly the reason. That and just like, I mean, it's Majin Vegeta and Deborah, dude. Like, scary as anything.
So it's time to tell you guys about my secret strategy all season. I purposely made Goku bad the entire season, so now he's gonna be awesome.
Alright.
He's coming out to play now.
No. It's time for the secret strategy. Mid Goku is actually N Goku this entire time. I now have access to the Vegeta.
Oh, I don't
fucking
want
way.
Goku back after what Goku did to me last season. No. Goku.
No.
Goku single-handedly made me lose the muscle. Single-handedly.
No. His code is like N Goku just so he accesses the fusion. He's still Mid Q.
Imagine. Yeah.
And Goku still has a place in my heart in hell.
Hell, Jace is in
I
mine
guess.
as well.
Shall we get moving on to the?
No, I didn't get my position.
You didn't get the prediction in.
Yeah. I thought you got
Wow.
it when you were all talking.
No,
Sorry.
no, I'm giving analysis for my series.
All right. Anyway, go on. I thought you.
Well, I've been debating it. It's a hard choice because Rose is good, but
That's fair.
ED in 3. ED in 3, baby. ED
See, I
in
can
3.
see that. I can see that. I'm not discounting ED, but
Yeah.
I got the plans.
I think regardless, this is going to go to 3 personally. So
Yeah.
okay. So we have 2 for Royals, 2-1, and 1 for 2-1 ED.
All right.
Get on to the last match of this week, and it's Android's Cold, an infamous match, a playoff match anyway, fucking going back years into the old league. This is tough. This is a tough one. I can provide builds. I may as well provide builds. Let me tell you the builds. So we have the builds are basically the same. So it's Key 1, Merc Tau, same build, Power of Rage, Dendays, whatever. Zarman's on his defense 2, normal stuff. 100% freezes on the normal attack 2 KSA. The only change is Cooler is Key 2 and launches support, as opposed to Power of Rage. So that water map ain't gonna do nothing to his charge. He is charging. Whatever's going on, he will charge. So yeah, that is the builds, and it's in that order. So it's Tau, Zarbon, Freezer, Cooler, and then Mecha Freezer is last in the lineup.
Be honest, with how Tao's been looking, your Tao, by the way, I have to fucking specify for this match.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to you just because, and I never thought I would say this with Android. Cell's not been too good this season. I think he's like, well, he is like, he's not their weakest link, but he definitely is like one of their weaker characters this season, which I never thought I'd hear out of my goddamn mouth.
Yeah, he's still above 40k, but he's weak.
Yeah,
like,
like,
Cell standards.
Well, no, it's like, yeah, by Cell tier character standard. But I mean, I think it's going to be close. I think, if anything, this is just going to go to 3 because I mean, you can't sleep on androids. With or without a water map, they're still really good. And like 17, if he decides, hey, I want to blow you up this week, I'm going to blow you up this week.
True, 17 is probably my biggest fear, if I'm being completely honest. 16 is also a big issue, but 17 is
And if they do get through Tau, like androids do kind of counter your characters because they can stay up in your face and get their key back while you really can't because you have to charge.
That's true. I like to think we've alleviated that a little bit more now because I think Zarbon doesn't need key all that much. Tau doesn't need that much. Yeah. But yeah.
That's my vote though. I'm going to say you to but round 3 and still be explosive. Macho. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I agree. Explosive. That's a good term for it. Macho.
I got the devil's advocate take. I think Cold is a lot better put together team than Androids right now. However, what I've seen out of Androids, Androids haven't been close to the finals since the dawn of the new era. And they've had a lot better put together teams. Like they had a lot of characters you thought were working. And they lost a lot of tough series. This team, I really like the approach from Androids this year because right now, none of their characters are consistent. They've been working on their characters and builds a lot because right now they are just throwing stuff together that will work on a week-to-week basis. And that's something that they usually don't do because usually they have a solved Android 16, perfect cell. Android 17. But now you get the this is what I like to call the Super 17 season, because he's the most consistent on that roster.
Yeah, you literally have been working the entire time.
Yeah, so very new look androids, and I think that new look will get him a 3-match victory. Devil's advocate, and I'm also re-unjinxing Xmat from before. So
yay, a re-unjinx. We love to see it. Well, I'm gonna be kind of brash and confident. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm gonna get 2-0. Don't ask me like 100% why, but I feel when you said about the team being put together, I do feel that, to be honest, because Zarvon's working really well, Tower's working really well, Freezer's been really good all season. Number 1 character. I don't care. Go Tencent count. And yeah, so I feel quite confident.
And time for people to clip this part of the Capsule cast when you get 2-0'd by androids.
No, if I get 2-0'd, I accept 100%.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing like a 3-match playoff series to let you know that your testing sucks and your characters were never solved.
Oh well, I trust me, but after Muscle last year, I'm not gonna ever get spurned again. I was so confident last year, and then Devilman and Garlic Jr. decided to work. Oh God, yeah. Okay.
I mean, to be fair, Devilman's like always kind of your team's always kind of a victim of Devilman.
Yeah, I hate it. I'm so glad Toast didn't use him, but yeah, that's cool.
Anyway.
So we have 2 wins for
2-1.
Cold and 1 for 1 for Android. So cool. Right, with that, I want to thank everybody for watching. If you guys want to comment down in the description below, see if we can do anything to improve the cast. Any suggestions would be taken and accepted. We'd like to hear of you guys. And while you're there, if you want to check out the Discord website, Twitter, and the TikTok, which is all in the description. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I've been your host, Xmat, joined by my co-host, Destiny.
Hello and goodbye, everybody.
And Macho.
Tag ED in 3.
ED in 3. Goodbye, everyone.